here from Harbin Engineering University in Harbin, China, where we are hosting the ACM ICPC World Finals. Harbin is actually a very large city in China.
It is.
And we have just had such a wonderful time here visiting with Harbin Engineering University, the host for this year's competition. They've been such gracious hosts, and we have just had a whole lot of fun. So we've had a great week leading up to this moment. Our students are, they've been entertained, they're relaxed, they're ready to go, and now, the moment is almost here.
Absolutely. Henhao.
Henhao, yes, Henhao. Now, our finals are about to start. They will be starting at 10 a.m. Local time here in Harbin. And we've got 103 just brilliant teams from all over the world competing here for the bragging rights that are at stake and the honor to be named the world champions of the ACM ICPC, the 34th annual competition. Just like myself, I have a favorite. The University of Waterloo is my favorite team. And then, of course, being Canadian, I also cheer for the University of Alberta and the University of British Columbia. And who's your favorite team?
That's the Royal Institute of Technology, KTH. And as the Scandinavian, because there's only one Swedish team, I will also root for the Finnish team.
Frederick, I can tell that we're getting really close to the start of the competition because we are right next to the competition floor, and there's been almost a cessation of any noise from the spectators. We can hear Bill Toucher as he's preparing the competition floor for the start of the competition.
And in just a second, we're going to start counting down. Okay, but we can't start yet until we have that trophy. We're going to release the balloons and the contest will begin. Okay. 11, 10,
9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Oh! 比赛现在开始。
Welcome back to the studio here at ICPC Live.
Now it's begun.
It's begun, and we just finished hearing the countdown. The balloons were released into the air. Now the teams are eagerly opening up their competition package and acquainting themselves with the questions they'll need to answer in the next 5 hours. So tell us, Frederick, what are you doing right now as a contestant?
Well, as we touched on earlier, it's important to solve all the problems. So you need to be a good problem solver. That's exactly what you learn in computer science, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
But also because of this timing thing, it's important to solve the easiest problems first.
Yes.
And the first thing you have to do to be able to solve the easy problem is, of course, to find it.
Right.
So
you're madly flipping through the book, is what you're saying, trying to find the easy problems.
They're gonna read all the problems, and we can now see there's K problem. There's 11 problems.
11 problems.
So they're gonna read through them and doing basically a complexity analysis of the problems, seeing which one is the hardest, which one is the easiest, and they're gonna solve the easiest ones.
Right.
And we don't know, we haven't got a copy of the problems yet, but we will. We don't know how easy the problems are. I would say that 5 to 20 minutes for the first correct submission.
Would you like to take a bet on that, Frederick?
Do you know something I don't?
So let's make this interesting. So I will bet you 50 RMB that they solve it in 15 minutes or less, the first problem.
Okay, you're on.
Okay, we'll see. Now let's go to a shot of our team number 1 on the contest floor and see exactly how they're feeling as they do this complexity analysis and root out the easiest problems.
And as you can see, they seem to be already working in a solution. Seems to be writing down sketches. And
so what you're saying is 50 Chinese RMB might be coming my way fairly soon.
I don't think so. I mean, it's already been minutes.
Well, I have a lot of confidence in this year's contestants, in every year's contestants.
Well, when you put it that way, I can't.
You can't argue with that. No, that's why we both have microphones.
I have confidence in the judges. They have made
they
hard
have
problems.
Definitely made hard problems.
Yeah.
And later on this evening, this afternoon, we'll have a discussion and with one of our judges and talk about, you know, what the strategy is there.
Now we're going to look at team number 4. That's Beijing Jiaotong University. They have been here for the past 3 years. One thing that teams often do early on is that they will write down some templates and stuff.
Okay.
You know, scripts that you'll need to do submission and testing, and you know, and
so
common code.
You can't bring them in with you.
Well, they can be in on paper. But you have the code on yourself. You can't touch the computer before it starts. So many teams will start off, will have one person will start off writing some template code.
Okay.
This common code for it's code reuse, you know?
Yeah. We like code reuse.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. and just to remind any of our viewers who have forgotten or new people joining us, both Frederick and I are computer scientists. We studied computer science in university, so please excuse our computer science and mathematics jokes. They, you know, likely to be many over the course of the next couple of hours.
We'll try to keep it down.
Yes, we will try to, but I'm sure they'll crop up.
Next team would be the Belarusian State University.
Okay.
They have a very experienced coach. That's Vladimir Kotov.
Okay.
He's been here 10 years.
Wow.
And this is a very good team. They are all first-timers. They finished in 3rd place in 2004.
Excellent.
2004 being a very important year because...
And why was that?
Well, KTH finished 2nd in the same year. So I just thought I should mention that.
Yes, important. Yes, definitely for fans of KTH like yourself, Frederick. You know, though, in 2002, I believe, my favorite team was a gold medalist, the University of Waterloo.
I don't have any memories of that.
Oh, I even remember from when I was in school. We were watching intently ourselves.
I was a contestant that year, you know.
You were?
Yeah.
Oh, well.
So they beat me fair and square.
Now who do we see here?
This is Carnegie Mellon University, team number 7. They're all first-timers. Their coach, Gregory Kedston, has been here 8 times. They got a medal last year, bronze medal. They've been some 10 times in the past 15 years at the World Finals. They qualified through the East Central contest.
So I believe that's Waterloo's region.
Yeah, I wonder who won.
Well, you know, since that region only sends 2 teams, I believe the University of Waterloo won that region. You know, we
have the first submission now.
We do. Okay.
Yes, and what team sent in that submission? That would be Beijing Jiaotong University. They made a submission on problem C, but it was incorrect. I'm sorry, and
I've lost my bet.
You've lost your bet.
I now owe Frederick 50 RMB.
You can go and get some money, and
I
will do that later.
Yeah, Frederick, let's do that later.
Absolutely.
No, I can always mail it to you or give it to you next year.
Looking at the submission, it was not even close.
Okay.
The Faculty of Computers and Information, Cairo University from Egypt.
So on to yet another continent.
Africa. This is the first time for them, and we have the first correct solution on
do.
problem J.
Oh, okay.
And it was it's Belarusian State University.
Wow.
Remember I mentioned them?
Wow, yes you did.
It is the Belarusian State University. They solved problem J.
Okay.
And
so
on the first try.
What we're trying to see, getting a sense of here is probably question J is the easiest out of the set.
It would seem so.
Would seem so?
As expected, the Belarusian State University at the top because they're the only ones who actually solved something on the first try after 25 minutes. And we got team number 19 coming up. That's Wuzhou University from China as well. They have been twice in the World Finals. The first time was in 2006. They finished in 39th place. They're all first-time contestants, and the coach is also new. We also got solution to problem D now.
Okay.
So there are solutions all over the place.
Yes.
It is very chaotic. We have in first place Belarusian State University solving J. We have Cornell in second place solving G. Then we have Instituto de Matemática, it's a long name, from Sao Paulo, solving J.
Wow, so we really have a strong problem set here.
We have.
Our judges have done an excellent job.
As always.
Of really presenting our top 103 teams with a challenging problem set. So, we haven't seen a pattern for an easy problem here in the first little bit.
my guess would start
It's
to be
tending towards Jay. Yeah, definitely.
And
Their
now,
first visit.
Team 22.
Yes. Team 22.
Harbin Engineering University, the
Oh,
host.
our host university. Let's take a look at how they're doing.
And Harbin, this is actually the first time for them in the World Finals.
That's just amazing.
So they have their coach is Yingchan Yu.
Okay.
It's the first time, and the contestants are Hu Guang, Yao-Ming Xu, and Yuan Zhe. So it's going to be interesting to see what they can do. I mean, being the home team, you know,
they've got a home team advantage.
Well, I would say though that KTH, we were the host last year.
Yes.
And that was the worst year we ever had.
Oh, really?
So I don't know. But
So, well, you know, your adrenaline is running.
Yeah.
All of your friends are locally there watching. It's you know, quite a bit for a team.
yeah, and we can see the Belarusian State University is still at the top. There aren't that many submissions so far. We have a Cornell still second place, and a team from Sao Paulo. We have a new team. It's Songjian Zhongyatsen University. As you can see, all the new teams solving problems that will jump in ahead those that have got some penalty time. So now we got a new team at shared 8th place that was from Korea.
Here we've got Doug Heinzman, the Director of Strategy for IBM Software Group. So Doug, tell us a little bit about IBM's involvement in this competition.
Well, we have lots of people here. We work on these competitions for a long time in preparation. We've been working on this competition for about 3 years now to prepare for this week.
Wow.
It's a worldwide sponsorship. We're involved in the regional competitions around the world.
Okay.
And it's very important for us. We think that it's extremely important to shine a very bright light on this next generation of elite problem solvers. They're not only the lifeblood of our industry and the future of our company, but they're very important members of our society because there's a big responsibility that's going to be on their shoulders because of who they are and what they can do. We give out various different prizes. There's cash scholarships for the top teams. We give out technology prizes of laptop computers and the like. And on top of this being a marvelous cultural experience for all of these students, this is also a very significant opportunity for many of them to set their lives on a completely new trajectory.
Right.
By succeeding at this competition, starting from 300,000 students at the beginning of the year, down to 22 and a bit thousand students at the regional competitions, down to the top 309 students here,
Amazing.
Quality is extraordinary. And so obviously these students are highly recruited by technology companies, including IBM. And IBM announced at the opening ceremonies that we will make a guaranteed employment offer to all the gold medalist teams. So that the top 4 teams in the world, if they so choose, we have laboratories, research and software laboratories all around the world, and we'll find a place for them if they'd like to come and work for us. The thing that really separates these students is that they have to figure out how to prioritize things and how to do a triage. They look at all the problems, figure out what the problems are saying, analyze what their nature is, and then decide how, in fact, to go and tackle them in what order.
Right.
They've also got to figure out how to use a finite resource of the fact they only have one keyboard and one computer, and so how do they optimize the members of their team's efforts to get the best result. And they also have to be able to perform under a time limitation. They've got an awful lot of very complex problems to solve in the next 5 hours.
Right.
And so this combination of being able to do that analysis, do that triage, the prioritization, work as a team with finite resources, and do so in an environment that's time constrained. These are very real-world skills, and this is why these students are so important and so valuable.
Right, and so sought after.
That's right.
When they graduate. So you were on the contest floor this morning, and I know you've been here, several years as part of IBM's sponsorship. What was it like this year?
That was exciting. I got to bring the balloons out and recognize the first team that solved the problem.
Awesome.
And I think they wanted us out of their hair. They're like, yeah, okay, thanks for the balloons, but we got to get back
to the next problem.
On to the next problem.
Yeah.
But it really is kind of fun to walk around and to see all these students and just look over their shoulders at all the notes that they're taking and scribbling all over the problem sets.
We were trying to speculate what were the easy problems, and we're thinking that J, there's starting to see a pattern emerge. Quite a few teams have solved J successfully, but there really hasn't been a polarization towards J. We've seen other problems solved as well.
Yeah, different. The problems all have different attributes. Some are grid problems, some are series problems, some are geometry problems, and different teams are going to have different specializations.
Right.
Different students have expertise and experience with different kinds of solutions.
Right.
So there's a variety of different kinds of questions. There's
Right.
also a variety of difficulty. We
Okay.
intentionally structure the problems where we hope that there's a number of problems that almost all the teams are going to be able to solve.
Right.
And on the other end of the extreme of the continuum, there's a couple problems that there's only a few people in the entire world that could possibly
Able to solve, right.
and so we hope that we'll really be able to distinguish and separate the teams here so
Right.
that we can be able to declare who the world champion is, who the gold and silver and bronze medalists are.
Wow. Yet another excellent competition we've got off to
wonderful.
a start here.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for joining
It's my
us
great
at
pleasure.
ICPC Live. Doug,
We have a new leader. It's Stanford University, who has solved 3 problems. In second place, we have Izhevsk State Technical University. In third place, we have Saratov State University. Welcome now in the studio. We have Stein Norheim, who is going to explain the problems.
Problem J is about sharing chocolates. So you're supposed to have this big chocolate bar. In this example, it's just 3 by 4, but it can actually be up to 100 times 100 pieces. So it can be fairly big, but I don't want to draw all that. And then you have a number of friends. They can be 15. In this example, it's 4 friends, and you have decided how many pieces each friend should get.
Okay, so there's one friend who should get 6 pieces.
Yeah,
Another
one
will
friend
get
will get
3
3,
and
2, and this is just a small child. He'll get 1 piece.
Okay.
But the problem is that when you're cracking your chocolate bar, you can only crack 1 piece like all the way. So in this case, if you have this bar and you crack it there, you'll get 2 pieces, and it's cracked along this line. Which means that that puts some restrictions on how you can cut it. You're not allowed to crack it into 10,000 pieces and then don't do anything.
I get it.
Yeah. So your problem should simply say, the task problem is to see if it's possible to divide it into these pieces. And the other problem that quite a lot of the teams have been working on is problem number G, is called the Icelands.
Yep.
And you have this archipelago, could be like the Stockholm archipelago.
Definitely.
And you have a set of islands. We have coordinates for each island, and each island can be treated as if it was just infinitely small.
Yeah.
Yeah. But anyhow, you need to bring out supplies to each one of these islands.
Okay.
And you start out in the west.
Yep.
And you need to visit each island 1 time. But you are only allowed to first go strictly from west to east.
Yeah.
Over here, and then go back from east to west.
And we got a new leader. Shanghai Jiaotong University from China is up on 4 solved problems. So they moved into first place. We still have Stanford University in second on 3 though, and maybe most importantly, KTH got their first accepted run. So sorry, please continue.
And you're really not allowed to go backwards at all. So you can't do travel like this, because this one is more east than this one. Then we have these 2 special islands, and they are fuel stations.
Okay.
Which means that some way along the trip from here to here, you need to refill your boat. You need to stop there, and on the way back you need to stop on another of these fuel stations.
Yep.
It doesn't matter which of them you stop at, but you can't stop at the same one twice.
Okay.
Which means that you either need to go from here and there this way.
Yep.
If it only had been find one possible way from here to here, that wouldn't have been hard at all.
But
now you need to find an optimal way. Well, usually in these contests, there's one problem that's just embarrassingly simple. I mean,
but this wasn't the case here.
No, they're not really that complicated, but we didn't get a correct solution after 6 minutes.
No, it was 25. Now we just got Taras Shevchenko Kiev National University from Ukraine. They were the first team to solve problem B. They needed 4 attempts to solve that problem, and they did so after 76 minutes. And the name of the problem is barcode. We're gonna continue to take a look at the teams. The KTH, the Royal Institute of Technology, which happens to be my favorite team. They are currently in 37th place, having solved problem G, the chocolate problem again. Bless you. This is Chen Qing. It's the 2nd time in the World Finals for him. So KTH has been this is the 8th time in the World Finals, finishing their best result was 2nd place in 2004, and they also finished in 7th place in 2005. The Moscow State University is currently in 3rd place, having solved 3 problems, and They're tailing Shanghai Jiao Tong University in first place. They're doing pretty well. This university is always in the finals. They haven't won in quite a few years at least, but they finished second in 2003 and 2005, and fifth in 2008, and ninth in 2006. So, and also Stanford just solved problem C, so they're also on 4 solved problems now, and Shanghai in second place. It's US and China. And then we can scroll down and see a little bit further down. There are many teams with 1 solved problems, but not that many with 2 or more. Next one is 47. That's Pontificia Universidade Católica de Rio de Janeiro from Brazil. Currently in 54th place. They have not solved any problems so far. Shanghai Jiao Tong University, having solved 4 problems. They won in Shanghai in 2005. They took silver medals in 2003 and 2007. This team is very good, and they're all returning from previous World Finals. Their coach, Yong Yu, has been in the World Finals 12 times. And we just got Moscow State solved their 4th problem. We have still Stanford University, first place. Second place, Shanghai, 5 minutes behind. And Moscow State, some 100 minutes behind. Next is the reigning champions, St. Petersburg State University of IT, Mechanics and Optics. They won the contest in 2004, 2008 and 2009. If they win this year, it will be the 3rd in a row. They are not even sitting at the computer. That's interesting, but they have solved 2 problems and are currently in 19th place. This school very often finishes in and gets a gold medal. And next team is the leader, Stanford University, solving 4 problems so far. All submissions have been correct. They have won the competition way back. One of their contestants is a second timer, but 2 of them are first timers. The coach, Jerry Kane, has been at the World Finals 9 times. With me now in the studio is Stein Nurem again, and gonna help me doing this.
Yeah, we thought maybe you were a bit lonesome
I
here.
was looking a bit lonely, yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, I do appreciate that. Tsinghua University from China is often way up there. This team is a completely new team.
Yeah.
There's no members from last year or any other year. But the coach Xiao Yun Wu has been at finals 8 years. Currently, what did I say? It's 14th place, solved 3 problems. So they're up there, they're competing, they're definitely a contender for the medals.
Yeah.
They finished second place last year in Stockholm, and second place in, where was it? Tokyo in 2007. Stanford just submitted on that problem B they were working on, but they didn't solve that one. But they're still in the lead, so that's not too bad. Interesting fact is that St. Petersburg IT, Mechanics and Optics has solved B, C, D, and still has the G and J problems left. Just look at it. If you look at the scoreboard, it's all the other teams at the top, they just solved D, G, and J.
Yeah.
Whereas the outlier here is St. Petersburg in 13th place. They solved B, C, and D, and that's strange. They haven't even submitted anything on the others.
Moving on to Canada, University of Alberta.
The host 2 years ago.
Yeah.
So far, they have not solved anything.
But they have a very good track record of attending to the World Finals.
They also have a good track record of results. They got a medal back in 06, and they almost got a medal back in 07. But, we now have a team with 5 solved submissions. That's Stanford University just got their 5th problem. So Stanford University is in the lead, and now the lead isn't ridiculously small. It's actually 1 more problem. With us now in the studio is Fredrik Heinz, and this was the problem that Stanford just solved, taking them up on 5 problems.
Yes, exactly.
It's very interesting.
This is a common problem in retail industry, that you want to encode numbers, identity numbers for your products.
Yep.
And usually you do that by barcodes. So the problem is about that we have a code called code 11, which encodes just the numbers 0 to 9 and the dash.
Yep.
And each of these 10 characters then have a special code. So for example, then there are alternating bars, dark and white bars. So we always start with the dark bar, and they can either be thick or thin. And if it's a 0, it means that it's a thin bar. So we start with a thin black bar, a thin white bar, a thin black bar, a thin white bar, and a thick black bar to encode a 0.
Okay.
But so for example, I just give an example of 0 and 1 here. So if we want to code number 10, we will get a string of 10 bars.
Mm-hmm.
But then, of course, since we want to do this with a real camera, we have a lot of errors and other issues. So therefore, we have two error codes called C and K. And the problem that the contestants are trying to solve is that given that there is a camera looking down on a printed version of a barcode, or of a potential barcode, I should say, so they get the input from this camera encoded as dark and light regions with certain widths. And then the problem that they have to solve is to find, does this image that they have on the camera actually correspond to a correct barcode? So and one trick here is that the code, they don't know if the code is from the left or from the right, since this printed paper can be spun around.
Okay.
So that is one thing that could lead to problems, because otherwise it's a relatively simple problem.
Sure.
Do you know that there is a certain width for these bars, and you have to check whether the image corresponds to a correct barcode or not. And actually we had a funny submission from the University of Waterloo. Our friends from Waterloo, they actually did integer division. So we only changed from dividing by 2 to dividing by 2.0, and that solved the problem.
Okay, so 2 characters added, and that solved their problem.
Yes.
Have they solved the problem? Waterloo, yeah, they currently solved 2, and they have 3 attempts on problem B. And the only thing that's needed is 2 more characters.
Yes.
Wow.
The next problem is called tracking biorobots, problem number C. And in this case, it's about building simple robots. So as an AI researcher, I know that there's a lot of attempts going on to build relatively small and simple and cheap robots.
Mm-hmm.
But the downside is that they are very limited in what they can do.
Yeah.
So the issue here is that we have a grid map which contains walls which cannot be penetrated by the robot. But since this is a very simple robot, it can only go upwards and to the right.
Yeah.
That's the only 2 moves that it can make. So the problem here is to find what are the number of squares in this grid which where you cannot reach the top right corner.
Yep.
So it means that in this case all squares except these 8 here can actually be reached by a robot which only moves upwards or to the right.
Yeah.
So you don't need to care about the number of moves, just if it's possible or not. So that is that problem, and it's relatively small size. It's just million by million grid, and it only has 1,000 walls.
We have a new leader in the competition. Shanghai Jiao Tong University just solved the barcode problem, the one we're talking about, and that took them up to 5 problems, just like Stanford University. But now they have 11 fewer minutes, so it's still a ridiculously small lead, but it's the other way around now. So Shanghai Jiao Tong University, the winners from 2005 in Shanghai, are now in the lead.
It's interesting that I mentioned this with just the time limit. When I looked through all the regional finals, I found was one team that they've solved the same number of problems.
Yep.
But one team was, I think, 14 minutes faster. So that was the difference between going to the World Finals and not going to.
14 minutes.
14 minutes.
Well, currently the difference between the win the world champion and not is less.
Yes.
It's 11 minutes. That's nothing. I mean, just doing one error will give you 20 minutes of penalty time. And currently it's 11 minutes behind here, so that's...
so if Stanford had not sent in an incorrect submission on the B problem, they would have been in the lead.
You're the one who have to tell them, I won't.
Yeah.
So, sorry, you were explaining problem C, or were we?
Actually, I was
okay,
done.
So what's the hard part with this problem? I mean, it's...
it's the size of the grid.
Okay.
I mean, you cannot just do a normal search. It's a million by million grid.
It's a million by million, okay.
Yes, so you have to do some smart trick to compress the grid somehow.
Okay.
And that should solve it.
That should solve it, okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
And you know it's only 1,000 walls.
Yeah.
So
that's really the limit.
Yes.
So you need to do a solution that works with a number of walls. Basically, it's a sparsely populated grid,
matrix.
And you need to use that to your advantage.
Use that fact to make it faster.
Absolutely. What is your thoughts about the balance of this problem set? with regards to the difficulty?
It seems like there were these 5 problems that we could identify in advance, that they seem to be the ones that were likely to be easy.
Okay,
but none of them were really super easy.
Okay,
so
but was that these B, C, D, G, and J that has been solved? Okay.
Those were the 5 problems that we had.
So you were right.
Yes. Then we haven't really thought about what would be the next problem.
Oh, okay.
What we know is that A, for example, is a really hairy parsing problem. So I wouldn't start with that. And then there were a lot of geometry problems among the rest.
Yeah.
So I guess it's more mathematical oriented.
Yeah, geometry is usually very hard.
Unless you know what you're doing. I mean, if you have done it before and you have it written down, then it can be really easy. But if you have to think it through and actually
if you find
develop
the algorithm from scratch, then
it's
hard, of course.
Exactly.
Yeah. You're saying that you were saying that E and F would likely be the next problems to be solved?
Yeah, it seems so. That many people are working on those, and I mean that indicates at least that the contestants think that those are the next easiest.
Have you been looking at the code they're writing?
I have not been looking at those codes, so I cannot say how close they are.
Okay.
But there are the people.
But you are back there. You are looking at it and analyzing it, and you will hopefully tell me about it.
Exactly. So that's the beauty of this system, is that we can actually get access to their submissions and to see, have they done something simple or are they completely off. So for example, this Waterloo incident, there we could just see that they were just doing some simple mistake.
Well, I sure hope they'll get that one. I think the first thing that happened was that Tarashevenko Kiev National University got their 5th problem and jumped up in 3rd place. And slightly after that, we had Moscow State University being the first university to solve problem F.
Yeah.
And that's one of the hard problems, right?
Yeah. We also see some submissions on A, which we said was a fairly tricky problem, and no one has solved it yet, as far as I can see. But there are definitely some teams trying.
Yep. And also, we can see that Shanghai Jiaotong University, they're working on problem K. Shanghai Jiaotong University have solved their 6th problem. So it seems like Shanghai, who won last time we were in China, is kind of planning on doing that again.
They got all but the J problem solved in the first attempt.
Absolutely, and very quickly as well. So they're currently they have a better time if Stanford, Moscow, Cornell, or any of the other teams on 5 problems would solve one more, they would still be behind Shanghai.
Yeah.
So in a way,
they have to solve 2 more problems in order to win.
Exactly.
All right, moving on to Japan, University of Tokyo. And they have been represented in quite a lot of world finals so far.
Second time for all of them, second time for the coach.
And they're currently on 9th place, so I'm pretty sure they will score well today.
We have the University of Warsaw, the winners from 03 and 07.
Yep.
Last year they finished 9th place, getting a bronze medal. This year they have solved 4 problems so far, putting them in 12th place. University of Warsaw is always one of the top teams.
Yeah.
Okay, the next one is a favorite of Deirdre's. Too bad she's not here. It's the University of Waterloo. They've solved 3 problems so far, placing in 34th place. That would be the first time since 04 that they do not score a medal.
Yeah.
So let's hope they'll bring it up. Did you see if they have gotten problem B yet?
No, they haven't gotten.
So
they seem to have submissions for B and D, although not correctly yet.
And we know that the B problem, that's just 2 characters.
Yeah.
.0. That's all they need.
Yeah.
Let's hope they'll find that one.
Going back to Poland, University of Wrocław.
So far, the only team that solved problem K. The University of Wrocław, they're in the Central Europe contest. The Central Europe is one of the hardest regions out there, if not the hardest. It's mainly because of the University of Warsaw that we saw recently blocking blocking space for others.
Because there's only a limited number of slots for in each region.
Absolutely.
So if you live in a tricky region, it's very hard.
Can be really hard.
Yeah.
That's all the teams.
Yeah.
Let's take a look and loop through the scoreboard. So we're back again, and even more important, Deirdre is back. Welcome.
Hi, I'm back.
You had a
Thank
good time with what we were doing?
Oh, I was actually at a press conference.
Wow.
So IBM has a press conference every year. IBM and also ACM, ICPC. So Bill Poucher was there.
Okay.
And we had just so many press from all over the world wanting to find out about ACM, ICPC, but more importantly, wanting to find out about what's going on today, what
and
the
who's
action
winning.
is.
And who's winning.
You could see a lot of the journalists in the audience were watching the scoreboard themselves, keeping up to speed on how the competition was going. Fantastic. I just have to say, what a great international event this is.
Absolutely.
Fantastic.
Absolutely.
So tell me, what's happened since I've been gone?
Well, a lot has happened. We have now, we actually have 3 teams in the top with 6 solved problems.
Tied.
Well, no, because there's time.
The time, sorry.
So
but at least 6 solved problems.
And just recently, we got the National Taiwan University solved problem I as the first team to solve problem I.
Oh, really?
So they're up on 6 problems as well. And if you look at the top here, we have Shanghai Jiao Tong University.
Okay.
They have a very good time.
Okay.
And 6 solved problems. You could basically say that they have 6.5.
Right. Because they're fast at work at their next problem.
Yeah, and the thing is that I don't think it's likely that any of the teams below will get a better time. So if somebody want to win, and you're not Shanghai, you need 7 problems.
Got it. Got it.
Second place, we still have Moscow State. I don't know what they're working on, but we haven't seen any action from them in a while.
Okay.
So
probably a hard problem they're trying to solve.
Well, I mean, they've done all the easy ones. If you look at the top 11, they all solved B, C, D, G, and J.
So the pattern I was looking for earlier has emerged.
It's here now. It has emerged, yeah. We have in the top 3, it's 3 different problems that they solved. The 6 problems is different. So it's E, F, or I.
So, Frederick, I have to ask you, how's KTH doing?
How's KTH doing? KTH is doing pretty well. I think we're at 19th place. 4 problems so far. They're
very good.
working on B, and they failed 4 times.
Okay, they're working hard.
Yeah. Well, they should stop failing though.
How's my favorite team doing?
Well, I mean, they're doing well. They're slightly further down at 36. They solved 3 problems.
Okay, but it's never over.
It's never over. And we do know that problem B.
Yes.
We know that there's 2 characters from solving that one. They just
so they're close.
There is this one place. They just had to add a dot and a 0. If they do that, it will be accepted.
Okay.
They're so close. Hope they'll get it.
So I will not give up hope.
You should not give up hope.
Nope.
It's never
I will
too
keep
late.
Cheering for them.
I would guess that their strategy is to wait until after 4 hours when the scoreboard will close, and they will surprise everybody and just move up there.
Now they did that last year.
Yeah, and that it doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense to do that.
However, they did have a bronze medal, so there you go.
Yeah, we didn't want one. Sure. You rub it in. Feel free, by all means.
I know you missed me. So, what can we look forward to now in the next couple of hours?
Well, we're currently at 1.5 hour left. Okay, so for 30 more minutes, we'll get updates to the scoreboard. And we'll see exactly what's happening. We'll see accepted submission and rejected ones.
Right.
So, but when we come to the 4 hours in the competition, when there's 1 hour left, then there will be no more. Well, not nothing, but there will no more updates on the results, on the acceptance and the reaction. Okay.
So will there be new balloons that are brought
No
out
new
onto the
balloons.
floor?
No.
Okay.
No.
So really, it's a blackout period.
Well, we'll see what they're submitting.
Okay.
So we'll see.
So
pending.
we'll be teased a little bit.
We'll see pending submission, and you can guess because if a team submits on one problem, and then it submits again, then you kind of know that the first one wasn't correct.
Right.
Whereas on the other hand, if they submit something on one problem and then they start submitting on another one, you don't really know.
Right.
It could be they solved it.
Right.
It could be they gave up.
Okay.
You don't know.
Okay.
So and so it's really exciting. You can see maybe who might be doing good, but you don't know.
You really don't know.
You don't know.
Okay.
So that's what's going to be happening during the final hour.
Okay.
And I've heard that we're going to get some real insights on the...
That's correct. So in our last hour of the program, we'll go really behind the scenes, and we'll talk to many of the different teams that help make ACM ICPC happen. And in particular, They're the experts on, what's really
happening.
going on today. We've heard, while I was gone, we heard from our experts who have been following the problem submissions. So that's one aspect of behind the scenes here, but we'll hear from other teams like our systems teams that runs all of the IT infrastructure here. We'll hear about how their day has gone. We'll also hear from a judge and get the judge's perspective of what's happened today.
And that's going to be really interesting because, I mean, they have known these problems for several months.
Absolutely.
So is what's happening here, is this what they expected?
Right.
You know?
I also hear that they take bets, similar to how we took a bet
Absolutely.
earlier today. And I remember I owe you 50 RMB, don't worry. So our judges, the rumor is that they also take bets to see which problems turn out to be the hardest for our teams to solve, as well as which problems will be solved first, etc. So we'll have our opportunity to ask one of our judges, whether that's been the case this year, and maybe he won. Who knows?
We probably did. I just got info here that KTH apparently had a really stupid mistakes on B.
Oh, Frederick, don't give up.
Yeah,
don't give up. There's still time
But they're working on it.
Okay,
they're working on it.
So we'll keep hope.
Absolutely.
And in the top 10, we really have representation from around the world.
Yeah.
It's the Shanghai Jiangtong University. They continue to work hard at their problem sets. But we also have teams from the United States. We've got teams from Russia as well.
But we can see this Russian domination that we had last year. It's a really good mix. It's a lot. So we're back again, and even more important, Deirdre is back. Welcome.
Hi, I'm back.
You had a good time with what we were doing?
Oh, I was actually at a press conference.
Wow.
So IBM has a press conference every year. IBM and also ACM ICPC. So Bill Poucher was there.
Okay.
And we had just so many press from all over the world wanting to find out about ACM ICPC, but more importantly, wanting to find out about what's going on today, what
and
the
who's
action
winning,
is.
and who's winning.
You could see a lot of the journalists in the audience were watching the scoreboard themselves, keeping up to speed on how the competition was going. Fantastic. I just have to say, what a great international event this is.
Absolutely.
Fantastic.
Absolutely.
So tell me, what's happened since I've been gone?
Well, a lot has happened. We have now, we actually have 3 teams in the top with 6 solved problems.
Tied.
Well, no, because there's time.
The time, sorry.
So
but at least 6 solved problems.
And just recently, we got the National Taiwan University solved problem I as the first team to solve problem I.
Oh, really?
So they're up on 6 problems as well. And if you look at the top here, we have Shanghai Jiangtong University. They have a very good time and 6 solved problems. You could basically say that they have 6.5.
Right. Because they're fast at work at their next problem.
Yeah, and the thing is that I don't think it's likely that any of the teams below will get a better time. So if somebody want to win, and you're not Shanghai, you need 7 problems.
Got it. Got it.
Second place, we still have Moscow State. I don't know what they're working on, but we haven't seen any action from them in a while.
Okay.
So
probably a hard problem they're trying to solve.
Well, I mean, they've done all the easy ones. If you look at the top 11, they all solved B, C, D, G, and J.
So the pattern I was looking for earlier has
it's
emerged.
Here now. It has emerged. We have in the top 3, it's 3 different problems that they solved. The 6 problems is different. So it's E, F, or I.
So, Frederick, I have to ask you, how's KTH doing?
How's KTH doing? KTH is doing pretty well. I think we're at 19th place. 4 problems so far. They're
very good.
working on B, and they failed 4 times.
Okay, they're working hard.
Yeah, well, they should stop failing though.
How's my favorite team doing?
Well, I mean, they're doing well. They're slightly further down at 36. They solved 3 problems.
Okay, but it's never over.
It's never over. And we do know that problem B.
Yes.
We know that there's 2 characters from solving that one. They just
so they're close.
There is this one place. They just had to add a dot and a 0. If they do that, it will be accepted.
Okay.
They're so close. I hope they'll get it.
So I will not give up hope.
You should not give up hope.
Nope.
It's never too late.
Keep cheering for them.
I would guess that their strategy is to wait until after 4 hours when the scoreboard will close, and they will surprise everybody and just move up there.
Now, they did that last year.
Yeah, and that it doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense to do that.
However, they did have a bronze medal, so there you go.
Yeah, we didn't go one. Sure. You rub it in. Feel free, by all means.
I know you missed me. So, what can we look forward to now in the next couple of hours?
Well, we're currently at 1.5 hours left. Okay, so for 30 more minutes, we'll get updates to the scoreboard. And we'll see exactly what's happening. We'll see accepted submission and rejected ones.
Right.
So, but when we come to the 4 hours in the competition,
Yes.
when there's 1 hour left, then there will be no more, well, not nothing, but there will no more updates on the results, on the acceptance and the reaction.
Okay. So will there be new balloons that are brought
No
out
new
onto the
balloons,
floor?
no,
Okay,
no.
so really it's a blackout period.
Well, we'll see what they're submitting.
Okay.
So we'll see
So we'll
pending.
be teased a little bit.
We'll see pending submission. And you
Okay.
can guess, because, you know, if team submits on one problem, and then it submits again, then you kind of know that the first one wasn't correct.
Right.
Whereas, on the other hand, if they submit something on one problem, and then they start submitting on another one, you don't really know.
Right.
It could be they solved it,
Right.
or it could be they gave up.
Okay.
You don't know.
Okay.
So, and so it's really exciting. You can see maybe who might be doing good, but
Right.
you don't know.
You really don't know.
You don't know.
Okay.
So
Okay.
that's what's going to be happening during the final hour.
Okay.
And I've heard that we're going to get some real insights on the...
That's correct. So in our last hour of the program, we'll go really behind the scenes, and we'll talk to many of the different teams that help make ACM ICPC happen. And in particular, they're the experts on, you know, what's really
happening.
going on today. We've heard, while I was gone, we heard from our experts who have been following the problem submissions. So that's one aspect of behind the scenes here, but we'll hear from other teams like our systems teams that runs all of the IT infrastructure here. We'll hear about how their day has gone. We'll also hear from a judge and get the judge's perspective of what's happened today.
And that's going to be really interesting because, I mean, they have known these problems for several months.
Absolutely.
So is what's happening here, is this what they expected?
Right.
You know?
I also hear that they take bets, similar to how we took a bet
Absolutely.
earlier today. And I remember I owe you 50 RMB, don't worry.
Absolutely.
So our judges, the rumor is that they also take bets to see which problems turn out to be the hardest for our teams to solve, as well as which problems will be solved first, etc. So we'll have our opportunity to ask one of our judges, you know, whether that's been the case this year, and maybe he won. Who knows?
He probably did. I just got info here that KTH apparently had a really stupid mistake on B.
Oh, Frederick, don't give up.
Yeah,
don't give up. There's still time
But they're
left.
working on it.
Okay,
they're working on it.
So we'll keep hope.
Absolutely.
And in the top 10, we really have representation from around the world.
Yeah.
It's the Shanghai Jiangtong University. They continue to work hard at their problem sets. But we also have teams from the United States. We've got teams from Russia as well.
But we can see this Russian domination that we had last year. It's a really good mix. It's a lot of different countries in the top here, and
so we've got a Russian team in second place. Moscow
that's
State
Moscow
University.
State. There is this case about problem statement doesn't specifically mention that it has to be integer or not, and you know it doesn't have to be integers.
It can be any number in the real numbers.
And some of the teams assume that the thing is integer.
Right.
The system we're using this year, she's called Caddis, and Caddis is a female name.
Right, and so we'll have someone from the team that developed that system,
absolutely,
close friend of Frederick's here, to bring us behind the scenes of that system, how it's been working today, how it's been developed. So that should be pretty exciting.
I think so. And I thought you would like us to take a look at. I mentioned that KTH was failing a bit.
Yes.
Yeah, we actually have here exactly what their error is.
Excellent. I would love to see that.
I'm sure you would. So let's take a look at that. You can see here to the left is what they should have written, and to the right is what they actually wrote. And there's only one line that differs. And this really is a stupid mistake. It's just in one of the cases, they should print bad code, but they don't.
It's just one print line statement?
It's just one print line, and they print nothing. So in some cases they don't print any answer.
They are so close.
They're so close.
So
it's just
close.
that line. So
it's it's a carrot, and it's right in front of them, and they almost can get the carrot, but they're just not there yet.
Just one line, and they submitted, I think, it's 4 or 5 times on that one, and 4 times so far, and it's just that error.
Well,
That's
I will
all.
hope that they find that line soon.
Actually, it's almost even worse than the problem that Waterloo is having, that they're doing division by integer division instead of floating point division.
Oh no!
So that's also a very, very small error.
problem. Yes.
But this is, I would say, even worse.
Yes.
And
Print
much
line
harder to
statement,
find.
yes.
I was hoping that our teams would be close competing, but not
no, Waterloo.
not in this way.
Yes.
Not in this way. So let's take a look on some problems.
So the first problem is problem D, called castles. So this is actually one of the simpler problems. So we had 5 relatively simple problems, and I presented the 4 others previously.
I like the name.
Yeah, so this is kind of a violent task. So the task is that you want to build an army to conquer a country, and each country has a number of different castles. And what you know is how many soldiers you need to be able to take the castle.
Right.
And you also know the number of soldiers that will die in the attempt.
Okay.
And then in order to defend the castle after you've taken it, you need to leave a group there.
Right.
So, and the castles are connected in a graph.
Wow.
And now the question is, in which order should you take them in order to minimize the number of soldiers? You only need to print the number of soldiers you need, but that's the problem.
So, Frederick, what area of computer science would you say this really focuses on?
I mean, it's basically a graph
Graph
problem.
theory?
Graph problem, yeah. Right. But it's relatively simple. You need to test all the different starting points.
Right.
Because when you have a starting point, then you need to traverse the graph,
tree.
Finding the minimum number of soldiers for that starting node.
Okay.
And then you do that for each starting node and take the minimum.
Okay.
So this is a fairly simple problem that I think more than half the teams have solved.
Okay.
So.
And was it one of the first in the first set of problems that were solved?
It was in the beginning. It was not the first problem, I think, but it was one of the first problems. Yes.
Okay.
So then we have the next problem, which is one of the harder problems.
Okay.
Actually, currently it's only a single team that managed to solve this problem, and it's called.
Which team is that?
It's actually the leaders, Shanghai Jiao Tong University.
Okay.
And Shanghai just solved their 7th problem.
Excellent.
Problem K, and that's
Excellent.
the one with the hard corner case. That's
yes, exactly, the polyhedra. Exactly. But that I will not present now. So in this case, there's a farmer a previous programming contestant who bought a farm.
Okay.
But the problem is that he bought the farm in a very cold and dry area.
So not a great place to live.
His crops is looking very sad, and they're not really liking it there.
Right.
But he found out that he has a water supply.
Okay.
And if he leads water through his field, then the crops become happy and they grow more.
Okay.
So now the problem is, what is the longest possible channel that he can take through his field in order to maximize the land that's getting well irrigated?
Right.
So, and then of course there's a number of obstacles in this area, which makes the problem harder.
Okay.
And since this is an irrigation channel, you don't want it to cross itself and you don't want to touch it. So, so the thing is that you need to lead the channel through the field
around all of the obstacles
and without touching itself. So if you play this worms game,
I have.
It's a little bit like that.
Okay.
But in this case,
very complicated.
Yes, this is a very complicated problem, which can be solved by dynamic programming. So this is a DP program problem.
Okay. What really contributes to the difficulty of this program, of this problem?
That you need to find the optimal, the maximum length.
Okay, so it's the optimization requirement.
Because just finding one path through would be possible, but finding the longest, taking all these constraints into consideration, that you're not allowed to touch itself, to cross itself, and so on.
And it really builds upon a real-world problem.
Exactly,
right?
irrigation is a very real problem.
A huge problem in many areas of the world. So I think good exposure for our teams to think about this sort of thing and how computer science and software development can help address the problem.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's a very interesting problem.
Yes,
So
it is.
hopefully we'll see more teams solve it.
Hopefully.
And it'll probably be one of our differentiators, right?
It might very well be, yes.
So we'll see, maybe all of only the medal winners will solve this
That
problem.
seems likely.
So it'll be a badge of honor for someone
Yes.
to actually come up with the solution.
But usually, that is the case. So we see here that there are 6 problems besides these 5 simple problems that many teams have solved.
Right.
But there is not a single team that have solved many of them.
Okay.
But there are different teams solving different problems, and
Right.
I think that's quite normal. But now, in the last hour, I guess they have time to start taking on a second
And
harder
then we'll
problem.
see the leaders kind of come out of the pack, right?
Exactly. So
Yes.
we saw that Jiangtong here
University.
actually managed to solve 2 of these harder problems.
Right.
And I think they were the first to do that.
Right.
So
Well, excellent.
it will be exciting to see the rest of the competition, and we will also present the rest of the problems in a few minutes.
Oh, great. I know we haven't taken a look at the scoreboard in a while, so maybe we'll take a quick look over there and see if there's been any changes.
It seems like the Jiangtong University has tried to attack problem H, which I think is the first submission on that problem. But
Actually, what they did was that they submitted their code for problem K on problem H.
oh,
So
sorry,
that was a mistake. Most likely, they haven't started working on it at all.
Now, Friedrich, I hear that we've got some really exciting news that you want to share with me.
We absolutely do. Remember I told you about the Waterloo?
Yes, they were having difficulty
They were
with
having
something
difficulties. So-
fairly straightforward.
Let's take a look at what they're doing.
Okay, let's do that.
Yeah.
Bring
So
it
you
up
go
on
here.
screen
Okay,
here.
so you can see the screen here, and what you see, the green lines is what they're writing, and the
Okay.
yellow is what they're supposed to write. And you see, the only difference is
Ah.
that the blue part, that's the only thing they need to add.
So
that's
they
the
were
dot zero.
assuming integer
Yeah.
division, but
Dot
they needed
zero
to
in
do
2 places, and they would be
Right.
fine. And that was for all of their submissions.
So
but there is a golden
there's
silver
a silver
lining.
lining.
There's
Okay,
silver
what's
lining.
the silver lining?
Well, they finally found it,
Oh, excellent! So they've submitted and solved
Yes,
it.
so they
oh,
solved the
excellent,
problem.
Excellent.
which brings them up to 5 solved problem.
Okay.
And
then what
that'll-
place does that put Waterloo in?
That would put them in 20th place.
Excellent.
Mhm.
And Frederick, you know I have to ask.
No, you don't.
Yes, I do. What place is KTH in at the moment?
Yeah, that would be 27th,
Oh.
which is strictly speaking below 20.
Yes, strictly speaking.
Strictly speaking.
For the mathematicians in the audience and in the
yeah.
studio here. But as we've said, it's never over until it's over.
It's
so
not over.
We don't know really where everyone will end up, but we're starting to get a sense of who's ahead, and we're seeing a pack
Absolutely.
move ahead, aren't we?
So at this point now, the scoreboard is no longer updating with
Okay.
accepted. And
So we're in our blackout period that we were
Exactly.
talking about earlier.
so you can see the scoreboard is starting to fill out with
Right.
blue dots,
Right.
and that's just the mystery.
Right.
the
As
mystery
to what
means
exactly that
We don't
blue
know
dot
what that
means.
is.
Okay.
So.
It's my pleasure to have in studio with me Sam Ashu from our systems team. So how has today been going, Sam?
Today has actually been very smooth. We
Okay.
have been preparing for this for about a year. We
Okay.
finally got on site,
Okay.
got everything set up the way we needed it.
Okay.
With the cooperation of the IBM group
Okay.
and the HEU staff,
Okay.
everything has been running perfectly smooth today.
Awesome. So really, you've been able to, enjoy watching the competition.
I've been laying on the couch with my feet up, waiting for the call.
Tell me a little bit about that year of preparation and the work and what's involved.
Once a site is decided on, several site visits are done. We
Okay.
do we scope out the locations
Okay.
and what resources they have and
Okay.
what we're going to need to bring in.
Okay.
And then we start systems phone calls where
Okay.
we meet every week deciding what hardware we're going to use, what
Right.
software. We go through security and anything and everything that can go wrong we plan for. And then finally the last couple of months, we start going into execution mode, where we start rolling out the plans that we laid out. Having people that you can depend on is the most important thing. Knowing that once a problem arises, all I have to do is look at somebody or ask somebody a question, I'll get the answer I need or the support that I need. The group that we've been working with has been together for about 13, 14 years now, and we finish each other's sentences some days.
And so, when did you arrive in Harbin?
I think we arrived Wednesday a week ago. Absolutely beautiful city. We've had some opportunities to go out and take some cab rides and see the sights and do a little bit of shopping.
Great.
A little chilly outside, but other than that...
Yeah, what a way to see the world. Fantastic. Well, thank you so much, Sam, for joining us.
Thank you, Deidre.
Now, in studio, I have with me one of the original developers of the automated judging system that's used here in the competition to judge the results. Hailing from Sweden, Stockholm, Sweden, I have Gunnar Kreitz with me. So how has the day been going? How has your system been working?
We've been sitting back and relaxing.
Excellent. So similar to the systems team, you've had your feet up.
Oh yeah, yeah. You've seen the systems team.
Yes.
So.
I know the systems team, definitely. So what has it been like in the days leading up to today? Have there been many updates to the system? What have you been working on?
Oh, we haven't had many updates, no. It's mostly about, setting everything up, making sure that we do not hit any problems during the actual contest. So lots of testing, verification, rerunning old contests over and over again.
So really stress testing the system is what we would say.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, and so tell us a little bit about what it was like to first develop Caddis.
So Caddis was first developed for usage in a course at KTH in contest programming, actually.
Oh, okay.
So originally it was developed for usage in education.
Okay.
But then we noticed that we had a good judging system, so we started using it for the Nordic contests as well. And now we've graduated to the World Finals.
Oh, excellent. That's great.
Yeah.
Well, such an achievement. Yeah. That's fantastic. And what was it like, were you involved in the competition before Caddis? What was it like to do the judging then?
Oh, so I was involved before as a competitor.
Okay.
So I was in the 2004 and 2005 World Finals.
Okay. And do you know much about how judging was done then?
Oh, right. Yeah, we've hosted a couple of contests on the old system.
Okay.
The old system is more manual, so judges do review every submission manually and click accept.
Ah, okay.
Whereas with this system, it's fully automated. Caddis makes the decision. Team gets feedback.
Okay. And so what happens once we know that judging happens during the competition as we see the scoreboard updating. Yeah. Now, what happens once the competition has ended?
Right. So now that the judges do not have to click for every solution, they have the time to look into the solutions which look suspicious in some way.
Okay.
There aren't any, but still, they have time to investigate things properly throughout the contest.
Okay.
So during the entire 5 hours, we have lots of judges here doing manual verification.
Okay. So really, it enables the judges to do exception handling instead of the more routine work. Oh, that's great. Yeah. Fantastic. Well, thank you so much, Gunnar, for joining us, and I wish you the best of luck in these last couple of minutes, and I'm sure Caddis will continue to do her job very well.
I sure hope so.
Okay, thank you so much. Now, here in studio, I have with me one of our judges, our esteemed judges. So how's today been going?
It's been going very smoothly.
Okay.
So this is the first year for this judging system, Caddis, and it's been very smooth.
Okay.
So.
And so what have you been doing?
Basically, we're looking at submissions, checking the wrong answers, trying to see what teams are doing wrong and how the teams solve the problems and so on.
Okay. And is it what you expected?
Yeah.
How has it differed from the 2 previous years that you've been a judge?
So previously we used a manual judging system, so then this required a lot more
work for you.
Yeah. Now we can just sit back and enjoy the show, which is very nice.
Great. Well, I'm seeing a theme here. So our systems team said the same thing. They had a lot of work leading up to today, but really, everything is going fine. So they've been enjoying themselves the same from our software developers, original software developers of Caddis. So they've also been having a good day, and now yourself as well. Well, that's great. We like it when things go well. So I've heard some rumors that judges take bets on the problems, and you have a little pool going in terms of which problems turn out to be the hardest, which problems are answered first. Is that true?
I can't confirm anything, of course, but hypothetically speaking.
You can speculate,
Speculatively. If that would happen, I think that today the judges' bets would have been way off.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
If
if that such a thing had ever taken place. Yeah.
Okay. If we look at this year's competition compared to previous years, would you say that the problems this year were more difficult than previous years?
The general feeling among the judges, I think, was that this year's was very hard.
Okay, so you're stepping it up a notch.
Yeah,
every year.
but we have to. The teams are stepping it up, so it's
absolutely.
We have to do something too.
And when we want to make sure that we're cultivating the best and the brightest to solve the hard problems that the world needs to solve. So we need hard problems.
Exactly.
Well, thank you so much, Bert, for joining us. It was excellent to have you.
Thank you.
Give us your behind-the-scenes perspective. Now, joining me in studio, we have one of our last guests. We have Patrick Heinen from the operations team. So what has it been like today? Anything you've been encountering today?
We've had a couple of little issues. We don't have any problems. The only problems we have are the ones that the contestants actually are solving today.
Awesome.
We've had
That's
a couple
exactly
of little,
what you want, right?
That's exactly what we want.
The same type of message. Clearly, all of our support teams here at ACM ICPC really, prepare well for this competition, and so that there aren't any issues on the actual day of the competition. So how would you compare this year's competition to previous years?
Each contest in each location has its own unique challenges. We have this year one of the challenges was the temperatures and cold.
Yes.
We've had issues where it's been too hot at previous contests. This has definitely been a unique and, as we've been saying, the coolest contest we have had and probably will ever have. But it's been extremely warm. The hosts and the university have opened their hearts and have made it a very, very successful event.
Great. You get an opportunity to get to know everybody, don't you?
I do. It's a lot of fun, and it's the interaction with people that I enjoy the most. Bringing the different cultures together and the different teams together from all over the world once a year to work together as a team to get the job done is phenomenal. It's a great event.
Awesome. And so how long have you been preparing for this year's event, would you say? Has it been a year?
It's been actually about 18 months.
Okay.
We started the preparation with some site visits over a year ago.
Okay.
We had several people here during this time last year to determine temperatures and some of the events and some of the excursions that we could do so that the teams would enjoy themselves.
Okay. And so the team that you work with, the operations team, have you been working with them for a long time?
I've known the majority of the people on the team for the last 13 years.
Wow.
I attended my first World Finals in 1998 when IBM first started with the programming contest, and have enjoyed the entire team since then. It's been a great experience, and I look forward to working with everybody every year. It's kind of a highlight of my year.
Awesome, that's fantastic. Well, thank you so much, Patrick, for joining us.
Oh, my pleasure.
It's been wonderful to have the opportunity to see all this behind-the-scenes events and actions that happen here at the ACM ICPC. Thank you very much.
Oh, thank you.
I'm very happy now to have with us a very special guest here from HU. We have Lin Zhao, and he's the Vice Director of the Organizing Committee of HU. Welcome. Lin Zhao, tell us a little bit about how long you have been involved with the competition and what your day-to-day has been like.
Okay. I have been involved in this event for at least 3 years.
Wow.
The 31st ACPC ICPC World Finals, which is held in Tokyo. My delegation has been there.
Okay.
And from that time, we worked all these days.
Excellent.
So I have many good times and also some very bad times.
As you're learning about the competition and
how hard work it was, and also what impressed me the most is it needs teamwork.
Has it been a very exciting day?
Really, yeah, very, very exciting.
Have you been watching out on the floor?
Almost.
Okay.
Yeah. Unless we have to do some works.
Yeah, absolutely. Yes.
I try to watch the TV. Yeah.
Yes.
Good.
Yes. Yeah. And so each person who has visited us today has spoken about the special closeness with the teams that they've worked with on this competition. It just feels like there are a lot of very excellent people involved.
Yeah. This time, this is the second time for ACM ICPC that held the World Finals in China. And last time it was held in Shanghai in 2005.
Right.
And this time in Harbin, although both of them are held in China, but the two cities are very different.
Very different.
We wish we bring the snow and the cold weather to all contestants. Although the weather is cold, but our heart, the volunteers,
warm.
Very warm.
Absolutely.
I hope all the contestants enjoy their life, their days in Harbin.
They definitely have. I've spoken with many of them, and they have really enjoyed their time here. Definitely.
Okay. Yep.
So tell me a little bit more. This week and in the last couple of weeks, as you have been preparing, has it been very busy?
Yeah, sure.
Lots of work going on to prepare?
Yeah. Although I worked for this event for about 3 years, but the last 2 months is the most difficult time.
Right.
So my teams, my colleagues, comes here very early. The first, they want to make all the contestants enjoy their food.
I've seen all of the students eating the food, really enjoying it. So your efforts have definitely been successful.
Okay.
Yes.
I'm very glad to hear that.
Good. Well, thank you so much, Lin Zhao, for joining us today.
I'm very happy to be here.
It's been a pleasure to speak with you. Let's take a moment to recap our audience on what has exactly happened in the last hour or so. We had the scoreboard frozen at the top of the hour, didn't we?
Yeah, we did, and now it's only a few minutes left. I think it's 5 minutes left of the competition.
So it's really intense on the floor, right?
Absolutely, and so for this last hour, we have only seen the submissions. We don't know the result of those.
Okay.
No. But what we can see is that the top two teams is the Shanghai Jiaotong University and it's the Moscow State University.
Okay, so we have a Chinese team and we've got a Russian team.
Yeah, those are the top two teams. And these are the same two teams that were top two teams last time we were in China.
Really?
And it was really tight that time too.
Really?
But in the end, Shanghai Jiaotong was the better team.
Moved forward.
Absolutely, and they won.
So they're really looking for history to repeat itself today.
I think they are.
Okay. And right now, are we seeing? They are leading the pack, aren't they?
They are. We can see that the teams are working on a lot of problems, but we don't know what's actually happening.
So we've got blue all over the scoreboard, but we're not really sure what the blue means.
No, it can either be accepted or it can be failed.
Okay.
So and it's hard to tell.
It's getting down to those last couple of minutes. It's very exciting.
It is.
So and of course, I'm hoping for success for Waterloo, and do you want to take another bet?
No, I think I'll just keep my money.
Okay.
What is the bet?
No, I would, only money, of course.
Of course.
Yes.
And what are you betting? Who's going to win? Waterloo? KTH.
I am behind my team, so I would definitely be betting that Waterloo will be ahead of KTH.
You know what? I'll take you up on that.
Okay, and what's the amount, Frederick?
Well, let's double those 50.
Double? Okay, so we're saying 100?
Absolutely.
100 RMB?
Absolutely.
You're on. I believe in my team.
So going to lose. If we do look at the scoreboard, we can see that the University of Waterloo hasn't submitted anything in the final hour.
Okay.
But they're ahead of KTH at this point.
Right. So what place is Waterloo in? 20th?
They're
was it?
20th when we froze the scoreboard.
Okay.
So, and KTH
was
27th.
in 27th. And has KTH had any submissions?
They have submitted a few.
But
quite a few actually.
It's never over until it's over, though.
Which is a bad sign.
Right. In these last couple of minutes, our contestants are madly going through test cases, aren't they? And they
might even be skipping that because they have 1 minute, 55 seconds left. 45. I can't count. There's no time.
Ticking.
There's no time. Just submit it.
Right.
Just submit it.
So you really have nothing to lose at this point.
Nothing to lose. It's always better to solve it, than not to try.
Right. To try your luck, and instead of playing it safe. So we're getting down to our last minute here, aren't we?
We are. There's 1 minute left. 60 seconds.
And if we look at the scoreboard, are we seeing a lot more blues show up in this last minute?
Let's look at the judge queue. That's the submission queue. Let's see if there is something there. We can see that there are submissions coming in every 2 or 3 seconds.
Wow.
Wuhan is sending something in now.
Okay.
Amir Kebir, University of the Philippines, Wuzhou University, Harbin Engineering is 18 seconds left and they submitted something. This is really exciting now. Zhejiang University, University of Chicago, Zhejiang University, these are all submitting now. Izhevsk State Technical University, Bangladesh is submitting at the end.
University of Chicago, and
MIT with 1 second left, University of British Columbia also with 1 second left, Ho Chi Minh City University also with 1 second left, Wuhan University with 3 seconds left. A lot of submissions.
We have a lot of activity.
It's all over. Especially, it will be very interesting to see the submissions from MIT, from University of British Columbia, and from Ho Chi Minh.
All coming in the last second.
1 second left.
It's just amazing.
Okay,
so I guess we'll be joining you live on the contest floor as we find out who the world champions are.
Absolutely.
Who are our top 12 teams from around the world this year at the 34th annual ACM ICPC World Finals.
Okay, we'll do this. Ural State for the 4th time. And they're up to 6 solved problems. They did 4 problems in the final hour. That's incredible. University of Waterloo? No, they didn't get 1 more. University of Wrocław? Didn't get A, didn't get E, didn't get F. Maryland on K. That's a hard problem with a very tricky corner case. The reigning champions is staying down on 22nd place, but KTH is moving up. MIT, 21st place. Belarusian State, 20th place. Seoul National University, 19th place. University of British Columbia, 18th place. Fudan University, moving up. Carnegie Mellon, 17th place. Zhongshan, moving up. St. Petersburg State, moving up. University of Warsaw, moving up. Tsinghua, moving up. Petrozavodsk, moving up. Saratov State, moving up. University of Tokyo, 16th place. Cornell, 15th place. Stanford University, 14th place. Ural State, 13th place. And the first medalist, KTH, Royal Institute of Technology. They don't have any more submissions though. Continuing. 11th place, they don't have any submissions either, so Fudan will get a bronze. Zhongshan got 1 more submission, and if they get it, they didn't. So it's a bronze medal for Zhongshan. And the final bronze medal will go to St. Petersburg State University. They have no more submissions. We're now on the silver medals. University of Warsaw, no more submissions. They'll get a silver. Saratov State. There's no more submissions. They'll get a silver. Saratov State University. And Tsinghua University, a silver medal. Now, Petrozavodsk do have 1 remaining submission. They're currently in the silver position. Let's see what happens. They're staying in the silver. The silver medal to Petrozavodsk State University. Tarashevenko Kiev National University has got submissions on A. But they're staying in the 4th place. That's a gold medal. National Taiwan University has got submission on F, but they're staying in 3rd place. So we have the same 2 teams as last time we were in China. It's Moscow State and Shanghai Jiaotong in top 2 places. Let's see what Moscow State did with problem K. They got it, but the time is worse. Moscow State, gold medalists, and very likely the world champions on how many problems? 7 problems will be Shanghai Jiaotong University.
Hao, and welcome back to ICPC Live, our broadcast here at the 34th Annual ACM ICPC World Finals in Harbin, China, where we have just learned who our 2010 world champions are. Frederick, how exciting was it down on the floor?
Oh, that was very exciting. There was a lot of action going on. In the end, it was the same two teams.
Just as you had predicted.
Well, no, but as last time in China, we had Shanghai Yaotong in first and Moscow State in second.
Excellent.
It was really, really interesting.
Such excitement you could see on the floor.
I noticed that KTH got in their
yes.
sixth one.
Yes, I noticed that as well.
Do you know how they did that?
How did they do that?
Well, there was this constant that they didn't know.
Okay.
So they just chanced.
Really?
They just...
Well, that was a good gamble.
They gambled and submitted 7 of them.
Wow.
With different constants, and
wow.
one of them worked.
Wow, that's amazing. I also noticed that, yes, KTH placed ahead of the University of Waterloo this year.
They sure did.
So it's been a pleasure losing money to you, Frederick, today. I'll have a check in the mail for 150 RMB, and I will never bet with you again.
That sounds great.
It's been a good day.
Yep.
Good day as well. So we're quite happy to have you have joined us today here at ICPC Live. Our broadcast just steps away from the 34th Annual ACM ICPC World Finals. And we'd like, as a last thing here before we sign off, to have our entire team join us here in studio so that...
Right, because it's not just the two of us.
No, it's not. There have been many people behind the scenes helping us do our analysis, helping us with the graphics, helping us, of course, with the camera work, the production, the sound.
You know,
yes,
everything we have been saying has been coming somewhere else.
Really, we have two of the easiest jobs in a sense.
Absolutely.
But we're very happy to have our team here with us in studio, and just last person to join us. So perhaps the most important. Oh, a couple of more people. Run! Hurry!
It's a mixer. It's a mixer.
The last couple of people joining us here, our production team for the ACM ICPC live broadcast brought to you today straight from Harbin, China. And we had the pleasure of covering the 34th Annual World Finals. And so from all of us, we'd like to thank you for joining us, and we'd like to say goodbye. Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.